Now for the news track discussion on whether the BJP can make a mark. Joining me live now, some of the best voices on Tamil Nadu politics and beyond. Narayan Lakshman, journalist and political analyst. Narayan, welcome. Good to see you. Rajat Sethi, political commentator. Welcome, Rajat. Sumant Raman, political analyst. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Raman. And Ramakrishna Upadhyay, political analyst. Thank you, sir. Good to see you again. Narayan, let me come straight to you first. Whatever happens at the end of this, the focus of today's discussion is on whether the BJP can make a mark. We've seen what Chief Minister Stalin has said. Every time the Prime Minister comes, it only benefits the DMK. The DMK is going to sweep this election with 39 out of 39 seats. Given that whatever happens, it will not be for a lack of effort on the BJP's part. And you've got Annamalai saying they're looking at a 20+% vote share, etc. You've got Prashant Kishore saying something else, double-digit vote share. What's your perspective? Can the BJP make some kind of a respectable mark in Tamil Nadu?
Well, Shiv, I think your question is spot on actually, because the BJP has been working assiduously from the grassroots level right to the top, bringing in big personalities, the Prime Minister himself, and of course, as you said, Annamalai leading the charge. And I think definitely their efforts are likely to lead to a impact in terms of vote share. The question, I think even Rajdeep's report and other reports you've been carrying earlier suggest is, will they get any seats? And I think that's always going to be a sort of, they're going to be reaching to do that because let's not forget, for the best part of half a century, this has been a state ruled by Dravidian parties, yes. And forget about the philosophy and the ideology, but even their fundraising networks at the grassroots village level are extremely strong, and so is their vote mobilization network. So the BJP has to actually play the long game, which I believe they are doing. And it begins with vote share. But I think their hope is that over successive elections, it will build up into better and better numbers with seats. And part of that, of course, is the question of the ideology, yes, and the philosophy and the clashes that have happened there. And that's where you're going to see the really interesting conversations in terms of how does Dravidianism position itself vis-a-vis Hindutva or the politics of the BJP more broadly, yes, and what kind of innovation happens in that space.
Very interesting, because the long game as far as the BJP is concerned is always something to take into account when someone looks when we look at a difficult state like the Tamil Nadu for the BJP. But the BJP is ambitious. The BJP, like Narayan just said, is putting in the work, and not only not only optically, but also it's building its organization, it's building its cadres at the grassroots level. Dr. Sumant Raman, given the BJP is putting in the work, it's also a realistic party. Here you're hearing about double-digit vote share, etc. That the investments being made in this election are more tuned towards perhaps either the next election or the state elections in Tamil Nadu in 2026. But having said all that, the BJP must be wanting to make some kind of a visible, big takeaway mark in this election as well. Can it do that is the question, Dr. Raman.
Shiv, I think that there are two issues here. One, the BJP is going to increase its vote share. That's a no-brainer. Now, the question is, by how much is the only thing that we are arguing about. In fact, about 8 months ago, I predicted that the BJP would get a double-digit vote share in the 24 election, and I still stick by it. They will get double-digit vote share. That's not too difficult to predict. Now, what is difficult to predict is the seat share. How many seats are they going to pick up? And at this point of time, I honestly cannot see the BJP pick up seats. Maybe one here, you never know. In 1 or 2 seats, there could be candidates who have that extra edge and manage to come through. But across the state, this opinion polls predicting 5 seats and 4 seats and all that, I'm sure that's not going to happen. Now, the point really is that the AIA-DMK, and I think Rajdeep alluded to that, the AIA-DMK was expected to roll over and sort of implode. Now, that's not happening. On the ground, in fact, inputs that I've received from the Kongu region, particularly in seats like Erode, in seats like Tirupur, in seats like Namakkal, actually indicate the AIA-DMK has its nose ahead in some of these seats, ahead of the DMK at this point of time. It may not remain that way till the end of the campaign, till voting day. But I'm saying that, this was completely unexpected.
Yeah.
And people were saying, will the AIDMK get little more than BJP? Will BJP get higher vote share than AIDMK? Clearly, the AIDMK, at least in 20 to 25 seats, is putting up a contest.
Yeah.
They're not going to win. They're not going to win most of them. That's clear. But at least in 3 to 5 seats, they are running neck and neck with the DMK candidates. Moment, BJP, which had its nose perhaps slightly ahead in Tirunelveli, and yesterday, or day before yesterday's cash seizure of 4.5 crore of 3.99 crores has hurt that candidate now.
No, absolutely. So the BJP, the BJP's work is of course hugely complicated by an AIADMK that has simply not evaporated or splintered into too many small pieces, and therefore this actually poses an advantage for the DMK. But Rajat, what do you think about the fact that the BJP is putting in the work is a given. It's very, very visible. The Prime Minister's visits. But perhaps the most visible aspect of the BJP's work in Tamil Nadu seems to be hinged around the charismatic figure of Annamalai. He's the man on which this entire campaign has, in some ways, been mounted. I'm not saying the BJP is not doing the work on the ground, but if it needed to find a charismatic, popular face, it has certainly done so with Annamalai. Do you think, whenever Annamalai speaks, he speaks in specifics. He talks about vote share. He talks about how he thinks this vote share is going to convert into seat share, etc. How do you think, what kind of a mark, in your view, could the BJP make?
Annamalai has certainly captured the imagination, most certainly of people outside of Tamil Nadu for sure, because it is one politician who can connect Tamil Nadu with the rest of the country. So far, there has been a huge disconnect. So he has really aced at that. And he has put tremendous amount of effort in Tamil Nadu. I mean, what do you expect? A new entrant, just a 4-year-old entrant into Tamil Nadu and Tamil Nadu's complex politics. And he has certainly created a dent. But what happens is, and I'm just talking more of a real politics sense, that he brought in ambitious goals before BJP. And because of, one person leading the party forward, he did not perhaps, account for AIDMK's sudden rise. What AIDMK and the two leaves has been consistently holding almost 99% of its cadre, and still its cadre base runs deep into the grassroots, has around 2 crore numbers of cadres. Missing that point and sort of breaking that alliance has really costed the combined NDA with ADMK part of that, which was together till just a few months back. DMK, I mean, this is one point which has not been covered so far, Shiv. And let me tell you, every single leader of DMK, right from Kanimoli to Stalin to then everybody has been caught on the streets by people, asked questions and hooted and sent back. Every single leader of DMK. DMK is still holding on to ground only because the opposition is divided between BJP and ADMK. This is the sole reason. Had they been united, I can tell you, and I've been in Chennai for the past 3 months, and I can tell you, have they been united, DMK would have been wiped out from the state, and Stalin would have been running a lame duck government for the remaining 2 years. Now, what has happened so far is that BJP has a solid alliance with PMK. BJP alone will be able to get around 12 to 13% vote. Along with the PMK of 5 to 6%, it will reach to a number of around 18 to 20%. You will see a considerable decline in the DMK's vote share. It used to be 50% in 2019 elections. It will come down between 35 to 38%. And you will see ADMK under EPS. I mean, EPS is a grassroots leader. He has risen under the shadows of Amma. After Amma moving out, everybody believed that he doesn't have the charisma to be able to pull the organization, this big an organization, forward. But that party went through a democratic metamorphosis. Metamorphoses are always bloody and painful, but he sailed and pulled the organization through. And this is where I think some miscalculation happened, where BJP is not with ADMK. They just thought that this is going to evaporate, which didn't happen. This is the reason why we are seeing DMK still leading, and BJP and ADMK trailing.
But the thing is, this divided opposition is a reality, and it's what the parties have to finally play with, and the DMK will 100%. Undoubtedly see it as a as a blessing, because a splintered AIADMK being kind of overwhelmed by the BJP was possibly part of the game plan in the in the wake of Jayalalitha's death in 2016. But R.K. Upadhyay, I want to bring you in, and Dr. Raman, I know you want to respond on that declining DMK share point that Rajat made, but I'll just bring in R.K. Upadhyay for a comment on the BJP's own reputation. We've talked about share and numbers and things like that. Ultimately we will only know on June the 4th. But in terms of the BJP's own reputation, political reputation in Tamil Nadu, the headwinds that the party faces, an upper caste party and a Hindi-speaking party, outsiders, who will destroy federalism and destroy identity and nationalism in Tamil Nadu. Has the BJP managed in this political campaign, being fronted by the Prime Minister and Annamalai on the ground, has it succeeded in any way in your view? Or do you think it will succeed in some ways?
Shiv, I think, Tamil Nadu is one very, very interesting state because the pendulum swings wildly from one side to the other. As we have seen, from one election to the other, it's a complete change around. In 2014, Jayalalitha won 37 out of 39. Yeah. And then in 2019, AIADMK just got one. Of course, Jayalalitha gone away. So AIADMK, DMK was nothing in 2014, but then they swung back. So this time, if Stalin says he's going to win 40 seats, he's certainly not going to, because he's given 8 seats to the Congress party and a few other allies. So I would say that BJP has made a lot of ground in the last 5 years, and the onus is on Annamalai to deliver, because I think he was largely responsible breaking the alliance with the AIADMK. His point of view was that AIADMK is as corrupt as DMK, and we need to project Modi, who is a shining armor with somebody with a clean image and all that. So let's go with that. So they have taken the long road. I don't know the long road whether they'll help them in this election or the next election. But it's a choice that they've made, and probably that is one reason why, as the previous speaker is saying, they may not win the seats. They may increase the vote share, but that's not going to show up in the seats. So even if they win 1 or 2, that will be the maximum that they'll get. But the point is, they were looking at 400 par, and unless it comes from the south, you have just 29 out of 130 seats. So unless you make it 55, 60, then 400 par is going to be very, very far. So that's one of the reasons why I think all of the effort is being made. And as you mentioned about Hindi, Hindustani, that very much is there, and they're not going to get out of that.
Yeah, that's
the Tamilians are not going to accept BJP for its Hindi imposition kind of this thing, and especially Amit Shah, once in a while making this kind of a statement that Hindi is the Rashtra Bhasha, and that doesn't go well in the south at all.
No, absolutely.
I don't know why he's
the Hindi issue.
And every time he does that, I think the 2-3% of votes BJP.
No, that's a stubborn issue for sure. And having grown up in Tamil Nadu, I can tell you that it's an issue that people feel very, very strongly about, and perhaps even rightly so. Narayan, coming back to you, Dr. Raman, I'm coming to you. Narayan, the Prime Minister and the BJP have made corruption a big issue. Corrupt dynasts, the DMK, versus this, upright young IPS officer who hung up his uniform to take on the system and the state, which is a very compelling kind of narrative. And we've seen in the past in elections where sometimes narrative, charisma and things like that, kind of trump the real politic and the general way that things have happened over the many years. It's easy to be swayed by it from the outside, all these hundreds of kilometers away sitting in Delhi, and for others. But what is that narrative really like on the ground? Does it have any traction and resonance?
That's a tough one, Shiv, because on the one hand, I wish I didn't have to say this, but the state is very accustomed to corruption and on a grand scale, the grand larceny. And it's not just the DMK or the AIADMK. All parties have engaged in it. I think where it pinches the common man and woman, the citizen who's engaging with the government for whatever public services, that's the point at which it really hurts.
Right.
But I think, so long as, you could look at the previous era of Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi on either side, so long as welfare services were being provided, mass welfare schemes of different kinds, and that is why Tamil Nadu, in a way, pioneered this way of allocating resources. So long as that was happening, it was a policy of, let them do what they want.
Okay.
And I think what the BJP might be trying to do in projecting this cleaner image is that, look, we are presenting an alternative vision where we will tackle the corruption issue head on, and that is the way we deliver growth and efficiency and so forth. I think that is the narrative, and that is the change in the way of thinking for the Tamil people and the Tamil voters. The question is, will they go for that, or will they fall back to the same old model, which may be running out of steam as the Dravidian movement itself has changed so much in its values since the 1960s.
Well, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, there couldn't be a bigger, mission or an objective than displacing the Dravidian parties. Dr. Sumant Raman, I have 30 seconds left on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, quick word.
No,
and if I have some time,
point,
I'll give Rajat the last word.
Very, very quick point. The point that Mr. Upadhyay made, the AIADMK had no intention of breaking this alliance. Mr. Annamalai single-handedly broke it repeatedly, and I know for a fact the AIADMK was actually going out with slogans saying Modi for the center and EPS for the state. I mean, they couldn't have been clearer in their articulation. And this gentleman went out there and systematically demolished the alliance to the extent that they were forced out.
Okay.
Many of us said at that time that if they really wanted to break the alliance, the time to do it was probably at the end of this year or maybe in 25, a year before the assembly elections. But now that he has done it, I think that what you will see in hindsight, again, had the alliance continued, my gut feel, seeing the anti-incumbency against the DMK government, is they could have picked up easily 15 to 20 seats.
Which is the point that Rajat also made. Rajat, last word I'll give to you. 15 seconds. Rajat.
No, I agree. See, certain calculations are for a shorter horizon and certain calculations for longer horizon. I can only sort of fathom and understand that BJP has taken the choice for going for the longer horizon. But, you never know. The way ADMK has really reorganized itself, they might be the contender in 2026, looking at how DMK's key ministers, half of them are in jail. The other half are getting booted by the public. I see less hope on Stalin holding on to power. He himself is frail. He's weakening by the day. I think Stalin will be on his way out still too soon, but he has weakened considerably.
Well, if you needed a fascinating state to look closely at in 2024, well, look no further than Tamil Nadu. It's going to be a lot of fun tracking it. All of our biggest journalists are on the ground in Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much, Narayan, Dr. Raman, Rajat, and R.K. Upadhyay for joining me on this News Track discussion. As always, very, very illuminating as well. Remember, India's #1 election destination is India today, and all of the states are being covered with equal vigor.